miles out over the speed limit is our guesstimate as to how fast he's going.
So really, we're starting to loop back toward where this actually all started.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That's what we understand, that it started over in the navigation area. We're turning again.
Yeah, another intersection there, and there is a sky map there on the screen to let you know exactly.
75th Street.
Let you know exactly where they are. This is very scary, to be honest with you, because this is a sort of residential area here, and going through so many intersections, making that turn there.
And that really is where this becomes quite dangerous, when you get off of the interstate and you go into these residential neighborhoods, and then there's these intersections that come up, blowing through traffic lights, that sort of thing. Obviously dangerous enough at high speeds as well on the interstate, but when you get down here where there might be pedestrians, where they may encounter folks who may be riding a bike or something along those lines, it really does, you kind of hold your breath as they pass through these intersections.
There's another intersection. Thankfully going through
and this is Lawndale, by the way.
Lawndale there. That's the intersection there. Thankfully, no one hurt so far in all of this. And you zoomed in a little earlier, and it appeared we were able to see the driver with his or her arm there clutching the steering wheel very tightly there. We were able to see that a little earlier. Wondering now, we see the brake lights here, wondering what's happening here. Is this another intersection? Making that left turn there near the supermarket and going into a neighborhood type area. Just wondering if this is very close to where this all started, though. Wow.
This is usually the beginning of the end for most of the chases that I have covered. When they get into a neighborhood, they got to slow down. Either that or get into an accident by blowing through a stop sign. It's clear that this person is familiar with this particular neighborhood over here, because who would have ever thought to go down this street?
Right. And again, according to the PIO with the HPD, this started as a call coming in from a citizen who was following this vehicle. Now, why they were following the vehicle, we don't know at this point, but we do know that about 10 minutes after that initial phone call was made to HPD, police cruisers got in behind this person, and of course at that point the chase was on. And again, as we've said a couple of times now, it started at navigation, went down the South Loop, went over to 288, ended up on the Gulf Freeway, the North Loop, the East Tex Freeway, the Gulf Freeway coming southbound now, and then of course now we're back in the neighborhood, not too far away from where this all began.
And HPD, they're trying to follow closely, but also a safe distance behind us. This driver appears to be slowing down a bit, kind of wondering what's happening here, just making a lot of U-turns here in this neighborhood. And Don, you mentioned that it's a possibility that this driver is familiar with this area, this neighborhood.
Yeah, that turn there, it makes me wonder, though, because it looked as though he was just trying to figure out whether he's going to turn left or right. Here we go back over the railroad tracks again. Let me put up Sky Map here for you just a minute. Yeah, and give you an idea of where we are.
And like I said before, you get it. This is a Junius Street. You start getting into these smaller neighborhoods, and you really just drivers don't expect this kind of thing to happen. He's over on Broadway now. He's making looks like a right-hand turn on the Broadway near Woodruff, making the U-turn right there, back on Broadway now. So he continues to make his way through these streets, and we're now coming up to an intersection where there are vehicles. He's having to slow down and making his way right on through there, passing very close to his other cars.
Hit some terrain and get away from them.
Yeah, David, go ahead, make that point again, David.
Yeah, I was just saying that he's in a pickup truck, and a lot of times guys try to hit some terrain where maybe they can get away from a police car, but all of the police are in SUVs, so there's nothing he's going to be able to do really to get away from them.
Right, and Houston police have talked
David
about...
would be able to confirm for me that this is an older model Toyota Tacoma pickup truck, I believe.
Absolutely is a Toyota Tacoma pickup truck. I was trying to pin down the year just a little while ago and was unable to, and the reason why that bumper on the front is kind of multicolored. It has chrome and it has black, and most of the ones I saw in the Tacomas were body colored. So it's a little hard to determine about what year, but it is an older model truck.
And again, we don't know why this chase started, but it seems to me that this may be some sort of work truck. And you see the stuff that's in the back there. It looks like spools of wire. So this could be a work truck that was taken from a work site. But again, we're still not exactly sure why police are chasing this. But again, it did start off as someone chasing this vehicle, or at least following this vehicle, then calling HPD.
And
There's a pretty good view of the driver there. It's best I can do at the moment.
A tinted window, so it's kind of hard to
It does
tell.
appear to be a male.
it appears to be a male, and we're looking thankful for Sky Map here just to show us exactly where this is happening, because so many people are streaming this on abc13.com now, and many of them are driving or getting ready to get on the road here, hearing about this police chase. And by the way, if you are just now joining us, this is a police chase in progress that started around 11:50, just before the lunch hour, started around Navigation there,
Yep.
went to the South Loop and then to 288. And we are now, Don, trying to take a look here at Sky Map. We are now, are we in the...
Wayside or Broadway? Or Navigation. Looks like we're on Navigation.
Still on Navigation there.
Yeah.
This is East Navigation.
And, you know, we've talked in the past, you know, with Houston Police, and they've brought up the fact that there's technology that they can use to start tracking some of these folks. And what one of the latest proposals would be to have a device that would fire a GPS monitor or a tracker onto a vehicle fleeing from police, and that's sort of still in the developmental stages. But, you know, this would be one of the reasons why you would do that. You wouldn't have a high-speed chase because police would know turn by turn where they're going. But obviously there's at least 4 or 5 units following this guy. And this chase, as you mentioned, Samika, started, you know, we're almost getting to the point now where half hour to 45 minutes from when it began, first got called into HPD.
I tell you, there have been some tense moments, too, with this suspect.
76th Street now, Navigation.
76th Street, but this suspect picking up speed and then going through many intersections here, blowing through stop signs, and then in these neighborhoods where, of course, I mean, as you mentioned earlier, Jeff, we're dealing with pedestrians and so many cars there at the intersection. Here coming to slowing just a bit here as they are trying to navigate this area.
Turn from Avenue N back onto 75th Street, going through intersections. You see more police cars now trying to, you know, block this guy's path. But, you know, anytime you get a police chase like this, it's hard to know exactly where the suspect's going to go. So the best Houston Police can do right now is to sort of follow behind. But it does look like he's slowed down quite a bit.
And trying to see if there's an issue with that back left tire there. And that could potentially be the reason for that suspect slowing down. You see there at the back left tire, wondering if there's an issue there.
I haven't seen police use the spike strips, but who knows? At this point, this guy could have run over anything, but...
It might be just a bit of an illusion, too, if he has some white letter tires, too. So that could be just like a little illusion there that we're seeing.
Flying over the trees here.
Hasn't come out in other areas, okay.
But Sky
I
Map...
have not seen them put down any spike strips yet. Because he's so far all over the place that it's going to be almost impossible to get out ahead of him. They don't know which way he's going to turn. If he was on a boulevard or a freeway, it'd be a whole lot easier to get some spike strips down. But I think that right now we're just kind of in a wait-and-see mode with the Houston Police Department to see what he's going to do and where he's going to go. Surely he knows by now that this is a full-blown chase with many police cars involved in this.
Right, and as you mentioned, also HPD has, you know, their helicopter up as well, following this turn by turn. So very, very unlikely this guy's going to, you know, get away. But, you know, fortunately at this point he's starting to slow down. You know, we did see, Don, you mentioned that speeds were up to 80 or 90 miles an hour while he was on the interstate. Still going on Navigation Boulevard right now.
And slower, a lot
significantly slower.
Yeah.
Significantly slower. And we're, you know, it's hard to get in the mind of a suspect like this to try to figure out what exactly is going on. But just following this and really thankful that there have been no collisions so far. In fact, he or she has gotten very close to many vehicles, but so far we haven't seen any side swipes or any collisions so far. Just following this one, now that the suspect has slowed significantly here, still along Navigation, as I understand it here, trying to look here at, Navigation Boulevard there, looking at Sky Map via Sky 13 here.
Yes, it's East Navigation.
Navigation, yeah.
Here's
Making a
another
U-turn
It looks like
now.
we're going to do a U-turn.
Yeah.
Aren't we thankful, too, that this time of day,
Right.
It's school hours, so kids are not out and about, you know, playing around and whatnot. So I was really worried about that when he was going through some of these neighborhoods, that there might be some kids out there, but most of them are in school.
Yeah, and according to HPD, you know, the first call on this came in at 11:30, so now we're getting on to almost a full hour that this person has been on the run. He's not going to be able to go.
It's almost as if I'm sorry, it's like a developing story, the ongoing, moving story we don't know what's going to happen, what's going to transpire, and everybody is kind of hanging on the edge, waiting to see. Now we're going the wrong way on East Navigation. This could be. Let's see if he's going to get out of here.
He appears
Why would he be on the wrong side of the street? Not sure. Yep, looks like he's going to jump.
Open the door. Is the door open?
Yep, door is open.
One arm on the door, one hand there on the steering wheel, slowing down a bit. The door closes. Again, he is on the wrong side of the road here at East Navigation. Yeah, police still behind him. Boy, this is a dangerous situation as we are watching this one very closely. But police chase in progress on Navigation Boulevard. If you are hearing us, please make sure that you are aware of this and you are being very cautious in that area.
And coming back
now, the other thing, too, that we need to make sure that everybody remembers the fact that police are kind of holding back. They don't know if this guy is armed or not. And so it would be real easy to go ahead and get in front of him, but you don't want to get shot if he is armed.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. And we had seen this driver go the opposite way down Navigation and then, of course, made the U-turn now coming back this way. Thankfully, now on the right side of the road as traffic picks up a little bit. As he's continuing to come. I think this is headed back toward the Gulf Freeway. Is that right, Don? Check my directions there.
To be honest with you, I don't know.
It gets hard to follow.
You're just going to... We're headed westbound.
Westbound, okay.
Westbound.
Yeah, he's headed westbound on Navigation. Thank you, Alan.
Here we go, another intersection here. And this suspect, I mean, this one has, at one point he's approaching 69. Listen to our producer here as well, too. But at one point, about, 5 minutes ago or so or less, the suspect was seen there with the door open, the driver's side door, just before he went to the wrong side of the road. Here's a turn here on what appears to be maybe Milby Street? Maltby Street there.
Are we going to get a pit maneuver here?
Yeah, I was about to say, officer, almost close enough now to do a pit maneuver, but now just as we said that, he started to speed up. Lost him behind the building and the trees there. Hopefully we'll get him coming back out. There it is right there. Yeah, is it Maltby? I believe so. Avenue H.
Avenue H, making that left there on Avenue H and going again through these neighborhoods. Boy, I tell you, just a scary situation.
Yeah, and you had mentioned...
And with more and more vehicles, more and more police vehicles joining the chase, sooner or later, one of these is going to be able to get in front of him. There's one right there that he just passed. So, and I've seen that's happened about 3 or 4 times now. So police are getting in front of him on occasion, and sooner or later they're going to block him in, I'm sure, where he won't be able to continue on the path that he has chosen. We'll see.
Yeah, and you mentioned that, you'd kind of gotten the feeling that maybe this person might be familiar with this area and not, just sort of accidentally turning into an area that might have a cul-de-sac or a dead end. And again,
and also, Jeff, the fact that he was looking to bail earlier when he got on the wrong side of the street with the door open, and I guess he figured that there were fences around there and he couldn't run. I get the feeling that that's what he's kind of looking for.
Yeah, maybe to jump out and then hop over a fence and get away on foot. That doesn't usually end too well either for these guys. HPD usually does a pretty good job of tracking them down even when they get out of the vehicle.
Well, Don, I tell you what, it appears that this HPD SUV appears to be trying to get a little closer to the suspect's vehicle and potentially trying to do a pit maneuver. We're watching that very closely right now. If you can see that SUV there, seems to be getting a little closer each time, as you see here, almost on the side of the suspect's vehicle here.
But, that's a very delicate operation because you got to be careful in the fact that once that vehicle is spun, he could very easily just continue driving in the opposite direction. And I think that the whole idea of the pit maneuver is to basically disable the vehicle to the point where it does come to a stop.
Yeah. Have we looped back around to where the guy was initially opening the door with his arm out, or is this a little bit further?
That's what this boulevard appears to be. Yeah. Back in the same vicinity.
Yeah, Avenue H and I, and then Canal Street coming up, a major intersection there.
And if you are just now joining us, we're going to bring you up to speed here. This is a live police chase here in progress. It started around 11:30, according to HPD, so this has been going on for almost an hour now. started actually on Navigation, which is where we are right now.
But it took us a while to get here. They actually went to the South Loop, then police started chasing him to Highway 288. We're on Navigation Harrisburg right now. He's making a left, but this thing actually went to the East Tex Freeway and then to the Gulf Freeway and then got off the freeway and then on the east side, and now we're headed over Greens Bayou on Navigation.
And picking up speed here again, significantly actually, with an HPD SUV unit there hot on his trail, but that suspect is picking up speed significantly. We were able to watch about 5 to 7 minutes ago when that suspect opened the driver's side door, and it appeared that he was ready to bail out of the car. He then drove on the wrong side of the road before continuing on, and Sky 13 here over the scene, continuing to follow this. We understand, Dawn Armstrong, we understand that you guys are following this, and you have to get over some things to keep in contact with this suspect. Now slowing down and making this right turn here with a police SUV unit there right on his trail.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of traffic in that area. Don, tell us what's going on as far as these side streets go. Do you see a lot of other people on the road?
No, not a lot of. This is kind of an industrial area in here, and so there's not a lot of homes in here, and therefore not a lot of pedestrian or civilian traffic. So as you can tell, we're kind of blowing through this particular neighborhood over here in southeast Houston.
Medina and Lawndale.
Now we're back on a boulevard again.
Yeah. Getting back on Lawndale.
This is on Lawndale. Yeah.
Oh, and you see now the HPD in the intersection. Let's see what happens here.
I think they were more interested in shutting down the intersection. Right. And so let's see if we can do there's the pit maneuver. There's the pit maneuver. This may be it. This may be the end. Yep. And there he is. He's out. Hands are up. It's over with.
He's on the ground.
He's down on the ground.
Hands behind his back, following police commands, it would appear at this point.
At Broadway Street and LaPorte, is that what we're saying here?
That's right.
Broadway and LaPorte, the suspect is down, hands behind his back on the ground.
K-9 unit.
K-9 unit there.
Police approaching very cautiously, but as you said, the chase is over, and now the suspect is in custody.
Wow. Great job by HPD, whoever was driving that car. That is the perfect example of a perfect pit maneuver.
Yeah, and sometimes when those pit maneuvers happen, you know, other people can be put into jeopardy, but not this time around. It was a very clear road, very clear intersection. The officer did exactly what he was supposed to do.
And Don, is this suspect...
Checking. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, as this suspect is now being taken into custody, the great thing about this chase, if there is one, is that no one else was hurt. I mean, this suspect was going, you clocked him at about 80 to 90 miles per hour at one point on the freeway. And thankfully...
At one point, yes.
Yeah, and thankfully no one was hurt.
And you noticed the police officers, once they got him into custody with handcuffs behind him, then they checked the vehicle as well, both the passenger seat and the seat behind the driver and passenger. And obviously nobody else in the vehicle with him. They're going to stand him up now, and they're going to take him over to a police car, and they'll do a preliminary search. And this has finally come to an end. Boy, I'll tell you what. Get your heart pounding when you're involved in this sort of thing.
60 minutes after it was first reported to HPD, the police chase coming to an end after an officer used a pit maneuver at Broadway and LaPorte.
And we're glad to say that this has come to an end safely.
Well said.
And Don, I'm with you. You can actually breathe a sigh of relief a little bit. You hold your breath, because you just never know how these things will end. And as you mentioned, this was a perfect pit maneuver to end this police chase. Almost an hour.
That's right. And you know, so many people's lives are put into jeopardy here when they do these police chases like this, and no fault of the police, that's for sure, but you got to wonder what these people are thinking when they go on a chase and lead everybody on a chase like this. It's so dangerous. You know, even at a 35-mile-an-hour clip, if somebody were to step out in front of the car, it could cost them their lives.
And Don, we're going to go ahead and show you the replay of how this ended just 2 minutes ago. This chase coming to an end as the suspect turned onto Broadway, an officer pulling up aside. You see the pit maneuver right there.
And there it is, the end of that chase. The suspect then opening his door as police surround him, and A K-9 unit jumps out. He lies on the ground, hands behind his back, as authorities come right there armed. And Don, you mentioned we saw the police actually going to check the vehicle, and then the suspect taken into custody.
We'll take you back to regular programming, but we can want to remind our viewers that we'll continue to stream the end of this chase over on ABC13.com.